During the life of Queen Elizabeth, she has been a very influential monarch. Her reign saw many wars and some extreme political changes. This means that it has been a great time to be queen. However, we should also consider her son King Charles. His reign will be more successful. Therefore, it is believed that King Charles would be better than Queen Elizabeth at leading England. Welcome to BLOGGO. And in this video, we will discuss will King Charles be a better monarch than Queen Elizabeth or not. If you enjoy this video, make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell for more videos like this. Without further ado, let's get started. When it comes to the monarchy, there's a lot of debate and discussion. Who should be king? The world has been waiting for a new monarch for years, and now we finally have an answer. With the death of the longest-serving queen in this world, the monarch is facing a new future. Welcome back to our channel BLOGGO, and stick with us as we will be looking at what we can expect from the new king and whether Charles will be a better monarch than Queen Elizabeth II. Charles Philip Arthur George, or Charles III, is Queen Elizabeth II's oldest son and Prince Philip, Duke of Edinburgh. He was born on the 14th of November 1948 at Buckingham Palace in London, England. He is the first heir apparent to the British throne not to be held in the United Kingdom since Henry VII, 1491–1509. His grandmother, Elizabeth Bowes-Lyon, 1908–2002, was a British princess who married into the royal family as Princess Charles's mother. She was also known as Madge, which means Little Madam. He was christened Charles Philip Arthur George on the 15th of December 1948 in the private chapel in Windsor Castle by Rev. Cuthbert Haddon Cumming, Canon Residentiary of Windsor from 1947 until his death on the 2nd of May 1957. He had been appointed canon before joining up with his brother Peter. The latter had attended Eton College together before going off into different paths after graduation, including becoming involved with politics while also studying law at Oxford University, where they shared dormitories during their time there together. Peter would marry Anne Shand Kidd, whom many believe were two peas among one pod, partly because they were both daughters born within 2 weeks. But mostly because she resembled her mother better than any other sibling except possibly Henry VIII himself. King Charles's personality is one of leadership, compassion, and kindness. He has confidence in his abilities to lead the country forward. The king is also a good communicator who can listen to others' ideas and opinions without judgment or prejudice. The late King Charles was well known for being compassionate towards his subjects when they were ill or dying. He would go out on walks with them to talk about their lives and give advice on how best to manage their condition until death came calling. This caring attitude towards people was something that his people noticed immediately upon taking power after the War of Restoration ended in 1661. As if it didn't matter what happened next door because there would always be someone else out there doing better than them. In 1926, Queen Elizabeth II was born, making her the longest-serving monarch in British history. She had been on the throne for 66 years. Queen Elizabeth II was crowned in 1953 at Westminster Abbey by Archbishop of Canterbury Geoffrey Fisher. She is the first British monarch to be crowned since Edward VIII abdicated his throne after 5 months as king. The coronation occurred when Britain was gripped by fear following an attempted coup against Prime Minister Winston Churchill weeks earlier, 1940. The ceremony involved walking down a long red carpet lined with dignitaries from around the world who were present at this historic event. They included President Dwight Eisenhower of America and Prime Minister Clement Attlee of Great Britain, who congratulated each other on behalf of their country's leaders respectively. Queen Elizabeth II was a constitutional monarch, meaning she had no power to make laws and had little control over how her country was run. However, she influences who becomes prime minister and other leaders in her country. Queen Elizabeth II was often described as supportive of her family members because they were loyal to her. However, she also wanted them to be successful so they could serve their countries well by becoming prime ministers or presidents when needed. She also seems like someone who would be great at listening because she has always been very supportive when it came time for people such as Princess Diana or Prince Charles's wife Camilla Parker Bowles. It's hard to say anything, but everyone thinks Charles would make a great king. He's been waiting for his chance and has already supported his mother and guided her. The world would have changed since he was born, and no one wants that. If ever there was a chance for him to step up, it's now. However, there are some questions about whether or not he'll be able to help out in this situation. Can he keep up with everything? Hasn't he had enough time off lately? Everything has been going great so far, but maybe not anymore. What if something goes wrong again? If someone is pondering if this has any bearing on the country's capacity to peacefully switch from a monarchy to democracy, or anything else, They should be aware of the following. The Queen's reign was largely peaceful and prosperous despite being challenged by republicanism during World War II when Winston Churchill was Prime Minister. She enjoyed positive relations with public opinion leaders like David Cameron, who called her a great leader. The death of Queen Elizabeth II was not easy for anyone, especially not for Charles, for whom she was not just the Queen but also his dear mother. Charles has been waiting for a long time. He's had to experience. He's confident, compassionate, and a natural leader. Prince Philip, the Duke of Edinburgh, would support Charles throughout his reign if he was alive. He may be nervous about this role, but he's ready to take on responsibility as head of state. Since he was born in 1948, he's been waiting to become the next King of England. He's had this title since before his father became King George VI, who died in 1952. Before that, Charles's parents waited until their son was born so they could be first in line to the throne, and it worked out perfectly. The Queen lives at Kensington Palace with Prince Harry, the Prince of Wales, and Princess Kate Middleton, the Duchess. King Charles has stepped into his mother's shoes several times while she's been ill, resting. He started doing this in 1998 when he became king. He then did so again in 2011 when Queen Elizabeth attended a state banquet at Buckingham Palace. Only this time it was Queen Mary II who had been unable to attend due to her health issues. In both instances, Charles took over some of the ceremonial duties usually carried out by staff members so that they could be performed by other members of staff who were available instead. The point is that Charles has been trained for this role. He was born into it and has had to step into his mother's shoes, which would be impossible for any other monarch. He may not always be flawless, but he will try his best and ensure everyone else does the same thing. This allows him to be compassionate and confident in his decisions, something we see from Queen Elizabeth all too rarely. It's hard work being a king, or queen. But if you have an inspirational figure like Charles, this may not be a bad job after all. Prince Philip, the Duke of Edinburgh, will provide Charles support and guidance throughout his reign. Philip was a great example to Prince Charles when he was growing up and continues to be a great source of support for him today. Being a well-known international figure who has experienced substantial travel throughout his life, including many locations Charles has not, having encountered numerous diverse cultures. Being able to share those experiences with his son, he is someone upon whom both princes can rely for advice when needed. The world has changed dramatically since King Charles was born in 1948. For example, in 1947, Britain was still recovering from World War II and was not yet fully recovered from its devastation. The country had been through an economic crisis following the war, which resulted in high unemployment rates and inflationary pressures on prices. Charles is older, but he's experienced and popular. He's also married to Camilla Parker Bowles, proving he can reign and have pleasure. Charles's wife is friends with Prince Harry. This might boost Britain's connections with Canada and California. This is a sad but also a turning point for Britain and the monarch, and everyone is ready for the next chapter in its history. Everyone looks forward to seeing what comes next and ensuring you catch up with our next video. Please be sure to like, share, subscribe, and ring the notification bell to be notified about our latest videos.